I can't believe he said this.
I'm just gonna say it, man. I don't think that celebrities should be able to vote. No cap. I mean, they're already famous enough. On God? And honestly, when it comes to politics, they... No, do you see what's happening down there? Oh, he's doing really well. Whoa! Are those Legos? Oh, he is doing well. That's pretty cool. That's like a lot of points, right? I don't even remember what we were talking about. I don't either.
Hello, my name's Daydreamer Dan, and I want to make a mobile game. Although mobile gaming has been around since 1997 with the addition of Snake on the Nokia, it wasn't until the Apple App Store and the iPhone that we really noticed how impactful gaming could really be on a phone. In 2001 alone, there were over 2.6 billion people who played mobile games. 55% of them were actually women, 34 came from high-income families, and about 50% of them played them while in the bathroom. I promise there's an important reason why I'm bringing that up. I'm not a pervert. Of these three facts, the one that I want to hone in on is actually the second one. 34% came from high-income families. Furthermore, in 2001, they found that the average mobile gamer spends about $17.17 a month on mobile games. Using some quick math, we can multiply this average consumer rate with the number of gamers in the world to find out that mobile games make around $44,642 million a month. On an unrelated note, I'm moving to LA. So I thought, hey, I love to play video games, and I took one computer science class from Miss Hagenson back in the 8th grade where I made a Bubble Bobble clone. So obviously, I've got to be qualified enough to make a mobile game, you know? Just for fun. Not because I'm moving somewhere where on average the rent is 140 times higher than the rest of the country. By learning and playing the most downloaded games from last year, we can hopefully learn some quick tips that will hopefully catch the attention of as many people as possible. And yeah, if there was some way to monetize it, that could be cool or something. So today, we're going to try and pitch the best mobile game of all time. I found an article that listed off the 10 most downloaded games on the App Store in 2022. My strategy was to play through all 10 of these games and try to boil down what aspect of the game made them the most interesting. After all, if all of these games were the most downloaded of last year, an amalgamation of all 10 would probably make one of the best games of all time. Obviously, there's no such thing as too much of a good thing, right? Right? And because I'm going to move from Louisville, Kentucky to what is considered the 4th most expensive place to live on the planet Earth, I don't really have a chance to play on my desktop or any of my consoles.
What about the Nintendo Switch?
I said none of my consoles. Please, loser friend. We're planning on traveling for 4 days, so that does give me a chance to play 2 to 3 games a day during gas, food, and bathroom breaks. See, I told you it'd be important. With that being planned, I now have an itinerary for the apps for my trip. An aptinerary, one might say. Because of the nature of this video, I'm actually writing and filming this section before knowing the final outcome, which is actually kind of exciting. I wanted the full mobile game experience to make sure that I could make the best possible game that people would love and love to spend money on. So with that, I'll see you all on the open road. Hello, my name's Daydreamer Dan, and I invented the best mobile game idea. Since I last recorded over a month ago, I'm sorry about that, I was a little busy. I played through the 10 most downloaded games of 2022, and I've devised the most interesting concept for the average phone game player. From these 10 games, I've chosen one trait from each that really caught my attention the most. I'm gonna refer to these as my gotta haves because we've gotta have them in the game that I want to make. And as part of the trip, I decided to record my reactions as well as my gameplay in order to show you guys the mindset that I was in when I was creating, nay, birthing this amazing idea. So the trip started and it was a little bit rockier than we expected. We left several hours later than we thought, and then the first day of travel was actually just a few miles outside of where we were moving from. So it wasn't until the second day during our first gas stop that I was able to actually play the first game on our list, Bridge Race.
You might see this weird thing behind me. That is a huge thing of cat food because all the cats are in here. Do I type my name? Okay, let's do, you know what? Let's do this. We'll do something funny.
Nice. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know what's happening.
The main gameplay goal was for you to run around and pick up bricks and try and create a bridge faster than the other players that were in the same lobby. I was able to play through a few rounds of the games, and outside of the simplistic aesthetic that was obviously implemented in order to save some money, there was one aspect that really stood out to me while I was playing. The ads. That's right, the most memorable part was actually all of the different ads that were thrown in my face as soon as I opened the app. In fact, an ad actually started playing in the middle of my supposedly online match, and I was really confused.
Oh, but I can steal their blues. I got an ad instantly.
It wasn't until I started looking back at the footage that I apparently stepped on a button that would play an ad in order to slow down everyone else.
I don't want Royal Match. That's not one of the top 10 most downloaded games. I've watched more ads than played the game so far.
So from Bridge Race, I'm going to note our first gotta have, which is rewarding watching ads. After our first pit stop, we started to move out towards Kansas City. Fun fact, did you know that there's a Kansas City both in Kansas and in Missouri? That's right, Kansas has so little interesting about it that even its namesake city isn't unique. What the fuck? In order to get into the true mobile gamer mindset, I decided to play the next game in a place where most people would be on their phones as opposed to talking to their families after Sunday service, a Denny's. So after ordering some lunch, I decided to play number 9 on that most downloaded list, Free Fire. For some reason, I thought the app preview looked like a dragon for some reason. I'm still not 100% sure why, and I thought it might have been like an RPG or something. However, to my and everyone else who was eating a moons over their hammies surprise, this actually turned out to be a battle royale game. It's an alright mobile battle royale, and I could tell that all of the people I was playing with were obviously bots. It was cool though, because I did see a Spider-Verse ad for some reason in the middle of it. I still, is this in the Spider-Verse? Is this a canon event? In the end though, what I got from this f***ed up Fortnite clone was one important aspect: battles. Even when it comes to this simple battle royale, mobile gamers, like any other type of gamer, share the same core beliefs, that you should be able to dunk on those who suck at the game that you're playing and blame losses to better players on laggy gameplay and little siblings. So for our own game, like Free Fire, we have to focus on adding some sort of PvP aspect to the game. We continued through Kansas because there's nothing else to do in the state, and we ended up near the edge of Oklahoma. Here, we played game number 8, Merge Master. So far, I've been able to play these games in the car and in a restaurant, 2 places where people are more likely going to be on their phones than not. However, for the next location, do you remember that little statistic that I brought up earlier? That's right, for our next location, I decided to play game number 8 in a bathroom. With a lack of shame and a bladder full, I would play this game in the finest Oklahoma-based bathroom I could possibly find. Merge Masters, which sounds like it could be a dope mech anime or a hardcore street racing documentary, is neither of those things, and instead, it's a simplistic ad-filled game where you can combine either 2 dinosaurs or 2 humans together in order to create stronger creatures. While the game overall was mid, it did have an interesting concept of being able to see units and creatures grow stronger through experience. I mean, you can tell by how excited I looked when I got a bigger human. So we're gonna add crazy cast of controllable creatures. And with that, we were able to end our first day of full travel and rest up for day number 2. So far, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really get it. They don't feel like real products, just simplistic shells of potentially cool ideas. If I want to end up making my own successful game, it seems like I just have to phone it in with something that could have been a lot better, which I really like because I don't like working hard. For day number 2, I started off bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and decided to play the first game before I even left the parking lot of our hotel. Number 7 on the list was none other than the worldwide phenomenon known as football. FIFA. Now, this is a strange thing to say, but this game actually was good.
I know nothing about soccer, football, as the Europeans say? Oh, I don't know. Is that a referee? Can a team legally make their outfits look like a referee?
The gameplay was interesting, the graphics weren't that bad, and I actually got a little excited while learning the basics of how to play this game on my phone. However, while I did enjoy the gameplay, I think the aspect that stood out the most to me was actually the team building.
Oh, Oh, it's a gotcha game. A white man. We unlock Publix. Pulisic.
Despite the fact I don't know any of these players, I thought it was a lot of fun of being able to replace players on your team with gacha-like tactics and end up creating an all-star roster of different players like Messi and Ronaldo and... I don't know, I'm tapped out. I'm so sorry. I thought I would at least be able to list off like one more. I can't even make a joke one because I literally don't know. Which one's married to the British Spice? So from FIFA, our gotta have's gonna be team building. While gassing up in Amarillo, I decided to play the next game off our list, 8-Ball Pool. It's literally just Pool on the iPhone. It's the same game as the one that I used to play on Yahoo Pool with my cousin. Oh shit, do you guys remember Yahoo? Anyway, it's fun, you're playing pool, it seems like it's against real people. So yeah, the takeaway for this one is balls. Okay. The balls are important in 8-Ball. After doing some snooker, which sounds like a slur, but it definitely isn't, we were still driving through Texas because it's big as shit, and it decided to start raining while I was trying to fix my cell phone mount in the car. And while it did really suck, at least I had a Slim Jim. In my wet desperation, I decided to play game number 5, Race Masters, which... That is the worst name for a game I've seen so far. Holy moly. You might be wondering, hey, is this a eugenics simulator? No, it's just another racing game.
Hold to ride? Oh, okay.
While the name for this game is really, really bad, it was actually kind of interesting.
Wow! Wow! Wait, why is this actually kind of... Balls!
It is another TikTok style game where it's minimalist to a fault. However, I did enjoy the touch controls that were used in order to drive the car as opposed to the classic joystick. So, learning from Race Masters, horrible sentence, we are going to add unique touch controls to our list of gotta haves. As I was continuing from Texas into New Mexico, I actually ended up finding Route 66, which is really cool. I didn't know that they made a whole highway based off the movie Cars. Like, wow, you guys must have used a lot of money. Sorry about Elemental, by the way. Speaking of things that are overhyped and underperformed, we have the next game on our list, which is actually a very popular game, Candy Crush.
I'm downloading Candy Crush, and I don't know if you can see that, but the Jonas brothers are right there.
As you probably know, Candy Crush is a match 4 game where you're trying to clear out all of the candies of a certain color in order to move on to the next level.
Okay, so I'm level 2. There's a hipster man in the background. Whoa, the board is covered in sticky frosting.
It's obvious why this game was so popular. I mean, it's addicting and quick, and it was able to carry itself through over 10 years of existing in the App Store.
See, this is how they get you. They make these early games so easy and so, like, welcoming, like a piece of candy.
And what's more addicting than candy? They add a colorful aesthetic to the game that is interesting to people of all ages, so obviously we have to implement it into our game somehow. And that leads us to the end of the second day. It was really interesting though to see how different these games were compared to those of the first day. They were interesting or exciting, and the gameplay aspects that they showed were actually quite interesting. So maybe I was wrong about my initial analysis of these games needing to be phoned in, pun intended. Instead, they should see that there's some love and hard work that was put into it so that the fans can actually tell that we tried. Maybe there's more to it than the money. Nah. With 7 games down, we are now down to the top 3 most downloaded games of 2022. After ending our previous day just entering New Mexico, home of blue meth and pizzas on roofs, I started off my day with a Spam and egg sandwich, and I was ready to take on the land of enchantment and our trip with our first game. What was that game? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was actually... What was that? Oh, That's right. The next game on our list was Roblox. If you don't know what Roblox is, you've either never been on the internet or you don't know what a 9-year-old is. It's an online virtual universe where you can create an avatar in order to interact with other players. There are even more options with servers that have specific types of games like horror games, battle royales, first-person shooters, and whatever this is. But for our video, we're gonna keep it to the base game.
What the? It's because it has Reamer.
After playing for a few minutes, the game was actually pretty intuitive, and it was fun to interact with other people, even if there was no form of chat that I could potentially find.
Oh, she's on my back now. Do I have an e-girlfriend?
The gotta have we learned from Roblox is that there must be some sort of social connectivity in our game. It's very important to know that there are other people who are part of this experience with you. In Arizona, I decided to take a quick pit stop at Target in order to get a case for my Switch, as well as play the second most downloaded game off that list, Stumble Guys. Stumble Guys, in the least rude way possible, is just a straight up knockoff of Fall Guys. They copy it with no shame and somehow with a lot of notoriety. Strangely enough, this game was able to collab with some big brands such as Nerf, the Rabbids from Rayman, and even the NFL.
NFL? Is this officially sponsored with the NFL?
So I ended up going into Stumble Guys with strangely high hopes.
I look like a King of the Hill character. No, I look like South Park. Ooh. Come on, come on. Oh, frick! Ah, okay, so this is just like, it's a Fall Guys ripoff.
I have a strange conspiracy theory that Fall Guys will never have a mobile port because of Stumble Guys. I mean, the amount of effort that they put into a knockoff is honestly kind of buck wild. It's like if we lived in an alternate reality where the Zune ended up winning the MP3 wars. Sorry about that, Steve. Being the second most downloaded game of last year, it was important for me to find the aspect of the game that was really bringing people back, and I think I did. The customization.
Oh, so it looks like this. Oh, so you just have to straight up buy. Okay, cool. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it is a little strange that a game that was partnered with, and I'd like to repeat, the NFL ended up making fake versions of real sports stars, but I digress. At the end, we just have to remember we need customization. And with that, we are now on our final game. And I knew I was in for a good time because as I was leaving that Target, I saw 8 different cop cars pull over 8 different trucks on the way out of the city. Comment down below and make sure to tell me what crimes you think the truck drivers were committing. Make sure to subscribe as well. We crossed the state line from Arizona into California, and we were now in the final stretch towards our next home. And I could definitely tell that we were in California because I saw those gas prices. Holy shit. That can't be legal. Begrudgingly, I gassed up, grabbed some candied nuts, and played the most downloaded game of 2022. The pinnacle of gameplay, according to mobile gamers, was Subway Surfers.
Okay. It's Subway Surfers. You rock, thanks.
At the end of the day, however, I think we know what makes Subway Surfers more interesting than any other game on the market. The imminent sense of danger.
I guess it's kind of fun to like go in between all of the trains, but that seems like a really dangerous thing to be teaching a child.
For our game, we should be able to make the players feel like that they're moving towards or away from something in order to get that sense of urgency and adrenaline. This is the perfect gotta have that we have to implement into our game. Danger. With all the games done, I continued my drive towards LA, and I started to realize something. During my travels, I was so invested in my phone that I didn't even realize the beauty that was all around me. The tall trees of California, the dusty mesas of New Mexico, the desert of Texas, and whatever the f is in Kansas. I was so busy playing these games on my phone that I wasn't paying attention to anything else. A depressing reality where I could only praise the small brick that was in front of me. And that's exactly what I want my game to instill in all of those gamers as well. I mean, you saw those gas prices, right? So we have now completed our list of gotta haves, and now we have all the aspects that will make a successful mobile game. Our cash cow is just gonna be an amalgamation of all these different features. Countless ads, PvP, playable characters, team building, balls, unique touch controls, candy, social interaction, character customization, danger. So with all these different gotta haves, we can finally create the perfect mobile game. All we have to do is have them all. We just gotta have them all. We just gotta have them all. 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 Did I just make... Pokemon Go does have a feature where you can watch ads for more materials, and you can face other players with creatures that you catch with balls and evolve with candy that you can team build together. And it does have a unique way of catching Pokemon with swipe controls, and you can interact with other players by giving them gifts and buy outfits for your trainers. The game even opens up with telling you to be careful of your surroundings. Maybe the mobile games market is not one I should put too much effort into, because at the end of the day, I invented the best mobile game idea, but the Pokemon Company got there a few years before I did. So go out there and try and find a way to make money in this hellscape that we call a free country. Because you know I am. But that's alright. I think I have an idea for a new plan. It's called a triangle stratagem. Okay, so listen to me. I'm gonna be at the top, and all I have to do is bring a few friends who can try and sell my product, all right? And then those friends can get 3 of their closest friends, and they can try and get them to start selling the product as well. And then it sort of just kind of trickles down, you know?